Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've just sent to the clerk a motion to refer. And my motion is to refer this back to staff to work with the developer and in cooperation with the local community to resubmit a project that addresses the community's issues regarding height, density, permeability, iconic design, impacts on the bike lane, and the treatment of Watson Street. I agree that this has been a long process, and there's been an immense amount of effort on the party staff and the applicant and particularly the community in this. I do not think that we should be asking the community to give up on their vision that they believe, and I believe justifiably have interpreted in the community plan for this project for $6.5 million. I think that the issues of affordable housing are moot in the sense that there is not justification from what I have heard in terms of height equating with affordability. I think that we need to address the whole issue of how we fund community amenities, as I mentioned earlier in a question, and that could be something that we can pursue later. But I think the community needs to be engaged with the developer in terms of whether they're willing to trade off community amenities for some very different kind of design that meets their needs. And I want to counter my colleague, Councillor Louis' statement that this proposal is in line with the community plan. I understand that there's a difference of opinion, but I absolutely believe that the community is justified in interpreting.
Yeah, why don't we call a short recess?
Okay, that's
seeing as
fine.
we have a number of council members have had to step out.
Yes, that's
We'll just take a brief recess.
okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe I was in the middle of talking about whether or not this proposal fits with the Mount Pleasant Community Plan. And my conclusion is that I disagree with Councillor Louis and the staff on this, and I agree with the majority of residents, especially local residents who have said that height, permeability, the design, the bike lane, especially of Watson Street. But I was most compelled by the final presentation in our days of public hearing. And that final presentation, to remind you, was one in which we saw the exact wording in the plan that referred to 3 sites and talked about those sites as being places within the Mount Pleasant community where there would be increased or could be increased height and density. And in 2 of them, there was very specific wording about increasing the height in those 2 spots, not in this one. And in that description of increased height and density, it said to medium and high rise. And I believe that it is an entirely reasonable assumption that the community has made to say that the 2 that specified high rise were intended for high rise, and the 3rd site, which is the subject of this hearing, is medium rise. On this referral, I'd like you to remember that height has always been the primary issue, and it is embedded in many places in this community plan. So consider that this is an iconic decision and that we've been asked by the community to get it right. I believe that we need to refer so that they can go back and work with the developer and our staff to get it right and fit with the plan.
Excellent.
speaking to that referral motion?
Mr. Mayor, a question to staff, perhaps to the clerk. I don't believe the motion is in order, as this is essentially a referral of the matter entirely over to the developer and staff. The developer has made a proposal to us whether or not to accept and our choice, I think, is either to substantially accept or defeat the proposal. And we can't bind, as a council, the developer nor the community to consult or not to consult. And so at this point in time, I don't believe that it is in order. I think the choices are either to approve for the project or defeat the project. And if the developer decides to then engage further and have a secondary proposal, then of course that is their choice. But a referral, I don't think is in order in this case.
Thanks, Councillor Louis. Let me just talk with the clerk here on this matter. One moment, please. Okay, after some consulting with the clerk and city manager of this, I am going to rule the referral motion out of order, given that we are charged with either accepting or denying the application in a public hearing.